What's going on, DJ Nation? Kenny Kim here, bringing you another Fantasy Golf Degenerates podcast this week for the Memorial Jacks Tournament. As usual, I'm here with everybody's favorite South African, Byron Lindeque. Byron, what is up, my friend?
Kenny, let's go. I got swept last week, though, so not the best week, actually. Thinking about it now, this is the first time I've actually thought about last week. Didn't have the fullest card, didn't go full card last week, got swept. Knew it was going to be a weird week. Just had a gut feeling. It was either going to be Rory that won it or Bobby Mack putting like Cam Smith out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous by Bobby Mack. But before we move on, we are sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Mayo. Get yourself a deposit match up to $250. Yeah, it wasn't that bad for me. I hit Maverick McNeil. The Mav just went ham the last 3 days. He barely made the cut and ended up finishing top 8. Same with Mackenzie Hughes. So I hit both the each ways on those. So that covered my week in the gambling sense. DraftKings wasn't that great. Cash view cornerstones weren't horrible. But still, it was like a 4 to 6 week, and I cashed in one double up. I was on the edge of all of them. So pretty shitty. But at least we keep the streak alive. I think it's like 14 each ways and 4 outright winners in the last 11 weeks for me on the gambling front. So hopefully that continues to improve. But I was impressed by Robert McIntyre. I don't really like him. And I'll go over that in a little bit. But like what he did, because you could tell he was wound tight, right? Like just the way he was talking about like the drone and like how he's a foreigner and people are out to get his ass. Like, his ass is wound up tight, right? With that lead. And usually when you're wound up that tight, you don't really come through at the end, right? But he had a little bit of a fail in the middle of the back nine. Bogey brought some people in, but the last couple of holes, he looked really sharp. I mean, he got a little bit lucky on a couple of them, but that approach on 18 is beautiful. It really sealed the deal for him. I was really impressed that he was able to go through it because inside his head he was just going fucking insane. You could tell just by looking at him. And I guess the reason why I don't really like him, I mean, first off, it's that Ryder Cup video after they won with him cheering and all that stuff. Like, he was a big fucking factor in the European Ryder Cup. And he did play well. He did play better in his baseline. And, that's another reason why I don't like him, because any European that plays better in their baseline at the Ryder Cup, I just instantly hate. And then, he was talking about, like, it was really cool that he was there with his dad. Like, a really great fucking story. But he was, like, complaining like he was homesick. I mean, shut the fuck up, you little bitch. You know what I'm saying? You're a goddamn man, right? I mean, like, what the fuck, dude? Now, I understand we're supposed to be sensitive to people's mental needs and stuff like that, especially with what's going on in the last few days. But that shit, I was like, dude, you're like 25. Like, how are you homesick? Like, when I was
19, Kenny, and I was golden,
Yeah, like, when I was 10, like, my highlight of the year was leaving the house and going to Boy Scout camp for a week.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, just get me the fuck out of here, man. And then, like, when I left for college, I, like, never came back.
Yeah.
Never came back for like 12 years. Didn't come back. So, I mean, I don't know. He seems like a little bitch to me. So I don't really fuck with him.
All right, Kenny.
So the European Ryder Cup team. So
Bobby,
I'm a big fan.
He joins a list of guys. 6 guys that I checked since 2017 of 143 of the past winners on the PGA Tour stroke play tournaments. 6 of them gained lost strokes on approach and won a tournament still. Bobby needed to gain 1 stroke exactly. 0.99 would have been, it ties it. He gained 0.99 strokes in round 4 and gained 0 for the week. So he basically makes the list. In my opinion, I think if you don't gain strokes, you go with the people that didn't gain. Like 0 is 0. It's the one person that did that, but he's now the 7th person, call it, in the lot. It's like a 4% chance in PGA history that you win a tournament like this, gaining with the putter and losing on approach. So how he managed to scrap it together, it's Scottish blue collar. Yeah.
Crazy.
And it just didn't, God damn it, I mean, it's Tom Kim weird. Live.
Like he's fired 4 caddies in the last year, right? So obviously, like, either he don't fuck with caddies or like caddies don't fuck with him. He seems like he'd be horrible to caddy for. Just trying to keep him like focused. And I mean, the shit with the drone was crazy.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like, it was crazy. Like, he was saying that like they were doing that shit on purpose because he's a foreigner. Like, the dude, like, that's crazy. Crazy talk. I still can't believe that he made it through with his mind frame like that. You know what I'm saying? And I was definitely rooting against him. I had a shit ton of Ben Griffin. Ben Griffin played extremely well. I had a lot of Ben Griffin. I think he was like 5% owned. I think I had 25%. So I was like 5 times over the field. So I was definitely rooting against him. And I had Matt Hughes outright, I had the Mav outright. Tom Kim played really, really well. Really impressive by Tom Kim to go basically toe-to-toe with Rory McIlroy on Saturday and Sunday. A guy that's going to outdrive him by 40, 50 yards. And he tied Rory 65-64 on the weekend, just like Rory did.
And Kenny, that 64 included 2 pars on the 2 par 5s, a par on the drivable par 4, and a brick from 4 feet on hole 14. Because I jumped in on Tom Kim at plus 220 to 1 on Saturday morning, and then he went nuts, but he missed so many freaking putts, dude.
We also had the Frenchman up there with a really nice finish, Victor Perez. Tom, Ben Griffin, of course, Rory was up there, Corey Connors, who couldn't miss a green. The dude's iron play is spectacular right now, like spectacular. I think he's gained something like 17, 19 strokes with his irons in the last 3 events, like 12 rounds. That's sick. He finally got his top 10. He hadn't had one of those in a while. Maverick McNeely, of course, saved my life with that Ichue, so I was able to get him and Hughes. Fairly fun event. Really liked the course. He had played, if you were off, he had played difficult. If you were on, and like certain days, like moving day, I thought they had the pins right, and they gave people chances to come back. But if you weren't like really on your game, you would still shoot over par. I love courses like that. I thought it played really, really nice. Seems like the Canadian Open just brings it every year. Last year was great with the Hadwin. I mean, really, really good shit. The crowd was amazing. The rink was cool. I mean, the rink was like classy. Like it wasn't classy, but it wasn't fucking waste management, right? Like people just going apeshit and stupid shit. I mean, they were showing, American Canadian pride, singing the national anthem. They had the little buzz on, but when the golfers came to play, they were quiet. They let them play. They did their thing. A great crowd. Gotta give it up to my Canadian brethren up north because they really put on a good show. Anything else you want to talk about this event?
No, just the fact that Rory seems like he is going through a divorce. He's playing golf like he's going through a divorce, right? Like there's no 4 consecutive days of good golf. He's boning on Thursdays and Saturdays and signing paperwork on Sundays and Fridays, Kenny. It's just, where are we going with Rory? If he wasn't such a God-given driver of the golf ball, his game would be all over the place, right? Like the fact that he's got that free square off the tee pretty much every single time he stands on a golf course really helps him. But yeah, his game is all over the place, is Rory's. I'm really curious to see if he wins this tournament again and goes for like a 3-peat before the majors. Because he won...
I don't know. What do you mean his game's been all over the place? Like, I feel like since the divorce, he's been playing pretty fucking well.
Yes. Yeah. But not to like a Rory. Like, if you watch him, Kenny, he goes through these spurts of incredible golf.
But that's been Rory forever. That's Rory.
Well, okay. If it's now or not, it still needs to be more consistent. That's what I'm trying to get at. Is like his game. You'll do something stupid out of nowhere, and that's now it looks like he's going through a divorce, right? Like he's always been playing like he's been in a divorce. Maybe that's why. But what I'm trying to get at is if he could just tidy it up, but maybe that's not his style, because you get one Friday.
Fargo, since he won the Wells Fargo, he's gained strokes in every major stroke gain category in all 3 events. Putting around the green.
Yeah.
And it's drivers. I guess I'm not watching him. Maybe you're watching him more than me.
Well, that's the thing it's this round by round stuff. Like I play a lot of Showdown, so I know what Rory's up to. This is when you go into Rory in Showdown and he gets you like 27 points. Like where are we at, brother? Like, what are we doing on Friday? Yeah, but it is what Yeah. Then he goes and has an incredible Saturday.
The thing is, if he plays 4 full rounds, well, he'll win 85% of tournaments he plays, right? I mean, unless Scotty beats him, right? I mean, basically that's what it comes down to. If he can be on point for all 4 days, dude's going to win like every event. And you're right. I guess he doesn't have that in him because, I mean, the thing is he's won 45 events, so it's not like he's short on wins. He just can't get that major in. So we'll see how he does in a couple of weeks over at Pinehurst. Of course, with his long drive, it's going to suit him, and he's playing, and it's going to be good for him. So we'll see how that goes. Other big stories for this past week, of course, was the Women's U.S. Open. It was actually a great watch. The course was Lancaster Country Club was a beautiful course. The funny thing is I was watching the final A, and Minjee was up 4. I saw Yuka Sasso at like -1. So I think Yuka, she's just a baller when it comes to these situations. I was thinking about putting her on, and I saw 10-1, and I was like, I just couldn't do it at 10-1, and I should have. I definitely should have. I regret that. Of course, we had Charlie Hall going viral. I mean, God, what a fucking smoke show. I mean, just because of fucking smoking cigarettes. I mean, if you want to win PIP, right, just smoke a fucking cigarette and have it on fucking camera because you'll be up there for PIP. I mean, it's hilarious. Like, she is so hot. Like, if we were in bed together and she just says, she's like, hello, I would just be like, oh, I apologize. And like, I just busted a nut on your leg. Let me clean that for you. Like,
By the way,
I can just listen to her voice and like, it would be amazing.
Let us know in the comments if we should do an LPGA segment, because I think it would be hilarious. And then we can get like some sort of graphics on and see if Kenny can like resist the urge to bet Charlie Hall, or we'll figure something out.
I mean, shit, I'm not going to bet her. She won't win that often. I mean, fuck, you know what I'm saying? I'm not stupid, but I'll stare at her all day. No fucking problem. Yeah, but I mean, like, it was good for the game. I thought it brings more attention, more eyes. I mean, I know it sucks and people hate it, but sex sells, right? And so, especially when it comes to women's sports, it's a shitty way to think about it, but I mean, it's just facts. And she just brings a lot of attention to the sport because of her looks, and she can ball, right? I'm definitely thinking about going to RTJ this year. Robert Trent Jones is local. They're hosting the Solheim Cup. Thinking I might get some tickets to go check that out here in September. Maybe
check that out or them out.
Probably everything. I mean,
everything.
Girls, the thing about it is these girls, yeah, they're nice to look at, but they can ball, right? I mean, first off, these aren't like your parents' LPGA players where they look like the cafeteria lunch lady and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? These women are like,
yeah,
very fit, right? Very, very fit. And the thing is, it's not all that. I mean, these women, some of these women can hit the ball a mile. A lot of them just hit every fairway. I mean, basically, when it comes to like the main techniques of golf, like if you want to be like good, you probably want to watch women's golf more than men's golf if you're trying to pick up pointers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these women, they just got all the fundamentals down. They know it. I mean, it's really, really impressive how they can hit every shot so similar every single time, especially the top women in the world. So I thought that was a really, really good showing for the LPGA. I thought the course was really, really nice. I thought the coverage was pretty good with the featured groups, the 4K, all that good stuff. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Probably just as much as the men's golf.
Kenny, what do you think about Nelly making a 10 on that par 3 and it being a major? You know, like she's been playing so well. And the first kind of blow up.
Has she won a major before?
I was looking it up right now. She's won 2. Okay. She's won in 2024. She won the Chevron. So this year, I guess.
Okay.
And then prior to that, she'd won the Women's PGA Championship in 2021. So I wanted to make sure to see if she actually has won a few majors in the past, because I think that makes a big difference to the comment that I had about collapsing. But still, major championships mess with people's brains. And for her to have, like to chip it into the water multiple times like that, tough scenes. But obviously she's won a major this year already. So what do we really know?
Yeah, I mean, she won 6 in a row. You give her a little bit of a break. If she comes back and is playing shitty, then maybe that one hole gets to her, because that's golf, right? You could think about that. You play golf for so long, and you fuck up that one hole, and that's all you think about, right?
No, she had to wait 25 minutes on that hole as well.
Oh, yeah, that sucks. I mean, okay, that's the one thing with women's golf. They are slower than men.
Oh, God. In college, Kenny, we had our entire team on the tee box at times. 5 guys. Just all on the tee box, just waiting to tee off. Massive backlogs, dude. It's brutal. Like, you got to have your mental shit together.
Well, because
we were playing with girls on the course as well. Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, they tend to take a lot longer. And yeah, the rounds are definitely very, very long. And that's something that they're going to have to tighten up. I mean, shit, Bobby Mack was 2.5 strokes, 2.5 holes behind on the final day. They finally gave him a little word on like 15, right? When everyone else
15. How do you make up 2 holes when you got 3 to go? You can't. It's such bullshit. Just loving on the guy. I hate Bobby Mack as well with you. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan.
Not fun to root against.
For the win, the whole thing was pretty awesome with his dad there, but fuck that dude. Yeah. I really don't fuck with him.
As a golfer,
don't he reminds me. Yeah, as a golfer, of course.
Yeah,
he reminds me of Colin Montgomery. Just someone who just finds every little thing to bitch about, right? Like in the middle of the round. Like it's so weird.
It's like he wants to be a perennial underdog, Kenny. He always wants to be against the world.
Yeah. A lot of people use that as motivation to try. It's like me against you. But, fuck, I just don't fuck with that dude. Yeah. Just don't like him. After the Ryder Cup, the partying, and just not a fan. We move on. All right. So before we move on, let's go ahead and go to a commercial break. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. I personally like the Pick'em games. Pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total in this week's game for a chance to win big. Can win up to 100 times your money in a single night. Pick between 2 and 5 players to build a Pick'em entry. Can also make rivals picks, which pits 2 players against each other. Now, the reason I like the Pick'em games is because of these things called scorchers. There's little chili peppers next to the golfers' names, and if you click on that, it adds to your multiplier, so you can win even more money. Sign up today with promo code Mayo and get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as an instant Pick'em special. Must be 18 or over and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org. All right, so that's our message from Underdog. We're going to go ahead and talk about our Underdog segment of the week. We went out about it this past week, and it was not going so well. I did not think the course was going to play the way it did. It wasn't as difficult as I thought. It wasn't easy, but it was not as difficult as I perceived. Now, this week, we shall see, because we're looking at, in the last few years, you're looking at -7, -9s coming out here. You've seen like -13 when it's been wet. But this week, we're seeing 15 to 30 mile per hour winds Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So my guess is scoring is going to be low. And I think Underdog sort of kept up with that, raising their birdie amounts for a lot of golfers to like 3.5 or the bogey amounts, like 3.5 or 4. The birdie numbers are the ones that I'm not sure of, because I feel like these guys can, especially with the rain that they're going to have Wednesday evening, Jack's going to pump the fuck out of that sub-air system, right? So you have to figure it might be a little bit firmer than we'd expect, even with the rain. I'm thinking difficult conditions. So I'm going to go basically bogeys is what I'm going to do. And the first one I'm going to do is actually going to be lower, because this guy, after what I've seen with his irons the last 3 weeks and throughout his career, Corey Connors, is just, his iron play has just been unbelievable. Just so strong. And he hits so many fairways. And the thing about Memorial is, you think it's a long course, 7,500. You think everybody goes ahead and hits driver. They're like the average driving distance, like maybe half, like in the middle of all courses on tour. Because, once you get past that 300-yard marker, everything gets real tight at Muirfield Village. So you got to think about that. But the thing is, I think the way Corey Connors plays, he can hit it down the middle, hit that iron shot, and then hopefully 2-putt. Basically is what it's going to come down to. He plays well at the Masters. Similar, maybe not as large as the Masters, but you're seeing rolling, undulating, raised bent grass greens, right? And he usually tends to play well over there. So give me less than 3.5 bogeys for Corey Connors. Now, the other two are going to be more than 3 bogeys. Versus Matt Fitzpatrick. Just not play very well, right? It's not great. His game's not there. He didn't finish top 10 last year here, but he was playing so much better than he is now. So I don't like Fitzpatrick this week. And I'm going Will Zalatoris more than 3 bogeys as well. The man just, he's just not there. Doesn't seem like he's there. I don't know whether it's still the injury or he's trying to figure out his swing so he doesn't get injured more in the first place in the future. But I think, having that surgery at a young age, it's sort of messing with him. He's trying to balance everything out with his swing when it comes to distance and health. And that's a hard balance when you're, 5'8", 155 pounds, right? And you have so much torque in your swing that, it makes it tough to find that balance. And I think he's struggling with that right now. So it pays, I think 6.4 times. So Corey Connors, under 3.5 bogeys, over 3 bogeys for Fitz, over 3 bogeys for Zalatoris. How you going?
So I try to do the same thing, Kenny, and I think the reason why you are not correlating your bets, right? Because if you go 2 of one, 1 of the other, you get that little. The reason you're getting paid out 6 point whatever is because those bets don't correlate. So the course, if you're betting a higher than bogeys and a lower than bogeys, it means the course can play differently for those 2 different guys. That's why your odds are higher, right? Like that's just why. So mine only pays out 4.77, and I've only got 3 guys. And I try to do the higher, lower thing for that too, but I think you got to choose the same category to go the higher, lower, from what I understand. I'm still also learning the ins and outs of Underdog. But Ludwig Ober, higher than 70.5 strokes. Same thing as Will Zalatoris, Kenny. The guy's walking around with a giant knee brace on still. Not good. That doesn't scream confidence to me. Tommy Fleetwood, this guy, the perennial bane of my existence. He's going to make more than 4 birdies, but I'm going to go 4 birdies or lower for Tommy Fleetwood, especially in round 1. The guy is just a statue. And then Brian Harmon, if you're going to tell me he's going to make more than 4 birdies around freaking Muirfield Village in those kind of conditions, I'll wear a clown nose for the next show if he makes 5 birdies. So
I like Brian Harmon this week a lot.
I like him for his bogey avoidance. Yeah. I don't like him to make 5 birdies.
5 birdies.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That
makes so he could shoot 69 and go, and still you would
make 3 birdies.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Or an eagle and a birdie somehow. He's just that kind of a guy. Yeah.
So I can see that. So that's our Underdog segment. So hopefully we can kick back a little bit. I lost on the first round, and in the final round, I did a little bit of a flyer to try and get like 11 times because I hadn't won it a little bit, and I hit 2, and of course Pendrith top 10 didn't go as well. I think he finished in top 20. He didn't really do that well on Sunday. So trying to pick it back up this week. Hopefully the Underdog streets go ahead, but the betting streets have been pretty good for me. So I'm going to go ahead. This will be our betting segment of the week, and I'll go over my bets that I have. And I basically have a full card already. And maybe I should wait until the weather, but I have 3 guys that are up there near the top, and I feel like their numbers are going to drop, and some of them already have. So I'm going to go ahead and take Morikawa 14-1 win only. I'm going to take Morikawa 14-1 win only. I'm going to take Hovland 18-1 win only. Then I'm going to go. Homa. You play Homa on Homa courses, right? If you look back at Homa's rates here recently, he's been getting those top 10s, top 20s, all on longer courses. Seems like that's something that he can get down with. I do like him a lot this week, so I'm going Homa 35-1 with 8 places. Then I like here's the one that's a little bit off. Ricky Fowler. Last time he went out, he looked pretty good. I know he finished like 35th, but ball striking, he was excellent. This is a course where he has succeeded in the past. If his game is back, this is a place where it would show. So give me 80-1 Ricky with 8 places. Then I went ahead and took where am I? Taylor Pendrith, 110-1, 8 places. Victor Perez, 140-1, 8 places. Jake Knapp, 160-1, 8 places. And Lee Hodges, 170-1, 8 places. So I got like 3 main bets and I think 5 or 6 long shots.
I call that the Engage 8.
Yeah, when you see with this event, you've seen recently it's been like 20, 25, 22-1. But prior to that, 60s, 500-1. Will McGirt, won this, So we have seen some underdogs do up, but that's why I'm also playing each way for those long shot bets. What are you doing this week for your bets?
Kenny, so I've been working accounting all day, but I have a few outrights for you guys. Breaking 100 will be out. By the way, little fun announcement, as I haven't mentioned this on the show yet. I will do my Back Nine Bet show on Mayo Media Network now, nice, which will be happening on Tuesday. So all the bets that I'm going to be doing in this little mini segment, I have a full show devoted to that kind of stuff. So you're going to get the ins and outs, the deets, the eats, the whatever you want, all on my show on Mayo Media Network at 7 Eastern on Tuesday. So that's going to be there. I'll just leave this as a little teaser because I'll give you all my outrights, but I'll have all my placement bets on there for you guys tomorrow night. I've got 4 outrights, and it's actually going to be 5 now that you've mentioned yours, Kenny. And I found it 55-1 on Max Homer at FanDuel. They finally dropped their odds, and now there's a 55 on Max. So give me Max, like you said. He's been balling out, and he's starting to trend in the right direction. That third place at Augusta got me quite excited about him. And then I've got Keegan Bradley. Keegan is driving the ball, Kenny, at a rate right now that is Scotty Scheffler iron rate. Like elite driving situation. So Keegan at a golf course that you have to drive the ball well, give me him at 50-1. Give me Benny on Nuke City off the tee. I'm just kind of betting all the guys I've bet my whole freaking year and not really got across the line. So I'm hoping one of them can get it there. Benny On's got so much distance, so good at scrambling. The putt is showing up nicely on these bank greens. I love Benny On at 50-1, and these guys are all each ways with 6 places at the fifth of the stake there. Sahith Theegala, 40-1. I think there's 55s out there on FanDuel. I got the 40 with the each way placement market for 6 spots there. Sahith, great drive of the ball, and if guys win tournaments, they win because they're putting. He sucked on the greens at Canada. The reason I played him at Canada was because he could putt. He goes and loses like 3 strokes in round 1. Like broke his drive in round 2. Just tough scenes, So hopefully we can bounce back there at 40-1. Still a price I'm willing to pay, Like guys I'm going back to, but at 40-1 numbers. And then Victor Hovland. The coach is back, Put the mayo on the bun, and we have got ourselves a deli sandwich, Kenny, that I want to eat all of it, And now that Joe Mayo's on Victor Hovland's sandwich, I want the meats. Let's go. This is the Arby's play of the day. Maybe Arby's will bet us here for this betting segment and say we've got the meats with Victor Hovland 18-1.
All right, that sounds good. All right, so let's move on to actually this week. Let's talk about this course. PGA Tour moves to Ohio for the Memorial Tournament from Muirfield Village. 3 years ago, Jack made some big changes to the course. He redid all the grass on all the fairways and greens, adjusted the bunkers, changed the contours of the green, added a bunch of new trees. New tee boxes were put in to lengthen the course about 100 yards. The course lengthening, fairway grass change, redoing of the bunkers, not that big of a deal, but of course, the greens, always important. But the thing is, it should be grown in by now, so you're not going to see what we've seen like a couple weeks ago at Wells Fargo and stuff like that, where it's super bouncy with these new grass. Grass should be grown in, but of course, Jack loves to keep this course dry and firm and tight and, as difficult as you can. So I expect that sub-air system to be pumping all week to make sure those greens are nice and crispy by the time Sunday comes along. Now, the greens, so when you look at it, I'm thinking, this with the wind is going to be the problem this week. You're looking at 15 and 30 mile per hour winds Thursday, Friday, Saturday, cooler temperatures. Also, rain on Sunday, just like we saw this past week. So, weather could definitely be a factor this week, something to pay attention to. That's why I'm a little bit worried about my bets going off early, but, we do it for the show. That's how we roll. All right, so the course, Muirfield Village, is a 7,550-yard par 72, 4 par 3s, 4 par 5s, most of which are reachable in 2, unless they use the back tees. Now, off the tee, golfers will see tree-lined fairways that are above average in width until the 300-yard mark, like I said earlier. After that, the fairways get much more narrow. There are deep fairway bunkers, water in play around 11 holes. The water's tricky here because water, sometimes there's these creeks that run alongside the entire fairway. So you can't really avoid the water if you miss right or left into those creeks. Now, with the wide fairways, you talked about this. With the wide fairways, you'd think this is a driver-heavy course. But in 2019, they ranked in the bottom 10 courses on tour in driving distance with an average driving distance of 282 yards. 3 years ago, the average driving distance was only 285. 2 years ago, similar. Last year, similar. Around 280 to 290 is the average distance that we're seeing. And that's usually in the bottom half of the tour. So golfers need to avoid the trouble that surrounds the fairways. So on many tee shots, the driver will be left in the bag. Now, if these fairways are missed, thick 4 to 5 inch rough will make the approach shots into these smaller screens very difficult. Though they'd rather be in the rough than the bunker. The bogey or worse rate here after hitting a fairway bunker is close to 60%. You want to avoid these motherfucking bunkers on the fairway, right? Now, even though the greens have been reconfigured, this aspect means this, very, very contoured, very undulating greens. That has stayed the same. If they hit it deep, and the pin is in the back location, it's almost an auto bogey or worse because of how the greens slope from back to front. The softening of this course from rain has drastically changed the difficulty in the past. Of course, 2015, the course is soft. The average daily score was under par, making Muirfield Village the 23rd most difficult course on tour. In 2013, conditions are dry, course is playing firm. That year was the 6th most difficult course on tour. Now it's got the state-of-the-art sub-air systems. It's possible that, even a light rain, even a medium rain, they're going to be able to dry it out. And that's the way Jack wants it. I think we've seen that in the last few years where it's become a little bit more difficult, even with a little bit of a rain. So, of course, the greens are bent grass, and usually they're going to be firm and hoppy based on the weather. Once again, water and sand come into play around the putting surface, and the greens themselves somewhat hilly, undulating, multi-tiered. Final 3-hole stretch, always tough. 2 very long par 4s with danger all around, and a long par 3. Now, the fairways here, sort of easy to hit. So this course is definitely an approach shot-driven course. Finding golf with good iron play and a good short game is going to be key this week. What are you looking for?
Yeah. You mentioned that the guys don't hit that many drivers, Kenny, and the driving distance is down. There's about 9 drivers or so that they hit per round, which is not a lot. It's the middle of the road, but I think the driving distance being so low is because of this rough. This rough is so thick. Like where your ball lands is where it stops, right? Like sometimes you see, like playing last week, if it bounces a few times, it'll at least bounce once or twice. This golf course, man, this rough is so cabbagey, it just shoved it down. So having that distance is nice on the approach shots because you can hit shorter clubs like we've discussed at these majors. So love that about this. Long irons, got to make sure you dial that in, and then just you can avoid those like dumbass mistakes playing this boring golf. Kind of like the stuff that Will Zalatoris used to do very well, and sometimes still does. That's what you're looking for, right? That blueprint. It's almost like a major-esque type of venue, and I think that's just basically what we're looking for.
All right, so let's get to these tiers. Let's start off in this 10K range. Of course, we only got 4. We got Hovland, Xander, Rory, Scheffler. What are you doing this week?
I've bet the Victor outright, and I think at this price, I think I can go back to him for sure. So he's going to be my favorite play in the 10K range because of the price tag. I was taking a peek. I know you're cheating a bit here with the 9s, but if you click on Victor and Colin, you have the same remaining salary for your next 4 guys as what you would have for your 5 guys after clicking Scotty. So that just puts that into perspective for you there for a touch. I would rather take that duo than Scotty plus 5 guys, in my opinion. So I'll be playing that kind of a game this week again, entering these single entries, 3-entry maxes where I can't have lots of entries for that one Scotty lineup to like optimize the other 5 guys. I'm going to try and limit the amount of people I'm playing against so those Scotty lineups don't hurt me as much. That's typically my strategy in these designated events with Scotty Scheffler in them. So I'll probably be playing Xander as well at 10-9.
Yeah, I mean, Hovland was my first cash game cornerstone. Pretty simple. We've talked about that already. I think I'm going to play at least 3 guys from up here. I do like these guys. I don't like a lot of guys in the 9K range. A couple that stick out to me, but that's it. I think I want to play 3. Hovland's going to be my cash game cornerstone. I like Xander. I like his price tag. It seems very, very easy to be able to roster him. Somebody else, and I'll go with the lowest owned between Rory and Scotty. I'll find out who the lowest owns. Is it probably going to be Rory? I don't know. Because, the last few times that we've gone out, we've seen the top guy. Rory was like 48% last week. You know what I'm saying? We've seen Scheffler hit that range, being the top guy. Now, the pricing might change that up. We'll see. But I'm going to play the least owned of that two. I mean, I can't do an argument to go against either one at this moment in time. I mean, the only thing you can go against Scotty, he's number one outside of April, right? Okay, so that's the one thing about Scotty. He's finished second and third here the last couple of years, or third, the last couple of years. Rory, like you said, there's days where he just doesn't show up. But it looks like his game is on point. It looks like he's ready. He's rolling. I like the way he plays. He's playing right now, so it's going to be tough to pick between those two. But I'll just go with the ownership play on that. Now, if we go
Rory,
to 9K,
Rory, the last time he played here, like 2016 was his best finish, T4. Like, where's the nothing? No top fives after that at this golf course. Like, he's just struggled.
Yeah, I do like Rory, of course. But we'll see how it goes. Again, the ownership play is going to be the big thing. We'll see how that rocks. Let's go to this 9K range. I do like Cowley. He's going to be my second cash game cornerstone. I went that route. It just makes sense. The guy's won here twice. His form is excellent. He's playing extremely good golf. It seems like we're back to the Morikawa of old. Iron play is looking a lot better. So go ahead, give me Kawa as my second cash game cornerstone. I do like him. JT's playing excellent. I'm going to play Justin Thomas. He's playing really well. Ball striking. It looks like the old JT is coming back. Lots of good finishes here recently. Striking the ball extremely well. Those are my two guys that I like. I might play Decky down there at 9K, but like my favorite play would be JT. My favorite cash play, of course, cash game cornerstone is going to be Morikawa.
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm going to be playing JT with you as well. And then I think if I'm going to get gutsy and see what the ownership looks like on Cantley, because Cantley's now what you say with Max. You play Cantley at the Cantley places, right? Because he's played well at all these places that he plays well at and played really badly at places he's played badly at. So if we can get some low ownership potentially on Cantley at a golf course that he's, obviously fell in love with over the years, I don't mind him whatsoever at $9,400. But this range has got warts everywhere, Kenny. Warts everywhere.
Yeah, no Cantley for me. No Oberg. I'm worried about his leg. Fleetwood, I thought about, but no. I'm just going to go with those guys. And I like the way you're thinking about Cantley, that he's probably going to be low owned. But if I'm going to play three guys up top, I can't go heavy in this 9K range. That's in the range that I'm going to have to skip. And I'm going to have to play a lot of guys in this 8K range. In the 8K range for me, Max Homa, third cash game cornerstone. Pretty simple. Play Homa on Homa courses. Again, you're looking at him. He's playing these longer, more difficult courses very, very well. So, Masters, Wells Fargo, all that stuff. He's playing these long major type courses well. I do like him this week a lot. Other guys in this range, Sam Burns, again, he played he played well last week, gained strokes in every single major strokes gain category. I don't know, the price tag seems pretty good. Like, the guys was won a bunch, right? It seems like he could do something. Also, he putts very well on bent. It's his favorite surface. I do like him a lot. Who do you like in this range?
I do not like Sam Burns a lot at all this week.
No,
I just
see. I don't like Thigala. I'm not big on him this week.
Why? What's wrong with Thigala?
His short game is so poor in the last 12 rounds. It's been horrible. And the thing is, his iron game isn't the greatest, out there. It's pretty fucking good. But when I'm worried about the wind, I'm worried about him missing these greens, and I'm worried about his short game. Of course, I'm also worried about that with Hovland, but I'm going with him just because I feel because when we talk about Hovland from before, right, his short game was better because I think it was easier conditions. This is going to be a truer test for Hovland and his short game with the mowed off edges around the greens that should make it a little bit more difficult to putt. So we'll have to see. But when it comes to Thigala, I don't like the way he's playing right now. I don't like the way he looks. He's not making putts. His short game's not good. I mean, even if you look at his irons from this past week, which is normally, his strength. He's like top 10 in strokes gained approach in this field in the last few rounds. He lost what? He lost, half a stroke. Normally, he doesn't lose that much. He hasn't lost anything in like 6. The last time he lost something, he went back-to-back, losing strokes with his approaches. Also, bent his worst putting surface. So I don't like Theegala. But after showing what Burns did last week, I do like him. You don't have to get like 8 billion birdies in this bitch to be able to compete. He's known to win on, more difficult, less scoring tracks like Valspar, like Copperhead. He's won twice. Give me Burns over Theegala all day this week.
Okay. Well, the only difference between Copperhead and Muirfield Village is everyone that's playing Copperhead is totally not the same as what plays Muirfield, right? Like this week is going to be hard to win because of the field. I don't like Sam in these big boy fields. He just doesn't, he's not alpha-ish. The Hith. Mike Tyson would have a nightmare with Sahith Theegala, but I think just the fact, Kenny, that he's driving the ball well, and two rounds of golf in Canada. Maybe his luggage didn't show up in time. Maybe his girlfriend wanted to go see some Canadian landmark and he didn't want to do it, but he did. And now he's still pissy about it because, I want to keep her happy, but now he's not happy. His golf game breaks his driver, misses the cut, blah, blah, blah. So off we go. I'm okay. I'll forget about that. Sahith's my guy. He's this dude. His on-off switch is burning out because it's flipping on, it's flipping off rapidly. He is on, off all the time. Whereas like a guy like Scott, he's always on, always off kind of thing. Sahith, always here, always there. So I'm okay with his numbers. They don't check out well because of how he plays. You just got to go with him or not. And I respect your decision to not. Benny on. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead with on.
Benny on, baby. That hat of yours. Kenny, God damn it. He's got to win a tournament at some point, right?
Yeah. This seems like it's something he could win. I do like Benny. I will play Benny. But if you're talking about someone who's driving the ball well, he might be the best driver in the field the last 2 months.
Well, Keegan's in the field.
Jordan Spieth.
And Jordan. Yeah.
That's
Jordan,
what I'm talking about. Jordan's gained like 3 strokes driving. Like in
congratulations.
The last 3 events.
What's that done for you?
It's pretty impressive. And I think he's coming to a course where he has played well. He rarely finishes outside the top 25. At this event. And of course, there is a cut at this event. If I didn't mention that earlier, it's top 50 in ties or within 10 strokes of the leader after 2 rounds. I think I might go about the Spieth this week. It just seems like one of those things. Anytime Spieth is going to be lower owned, if he's going to be popular, I'll probably not play him. But if I see him at single-digit ownership, that's usually when I like play Spieth because he'll just come out randomly and be like, I'm here. And they'll make crazy chips and shit like that and finish top 10, top 15, top 20, something like that, maybe. And, when you look at his price, it's basically, you don't need the win like you normally would from Spieth when he's like $9,500, $10,000. You're looking at 8,600 Spieth. Top 10 probably do it. And he's driving the ball so well. Give me a little bit of Spieth this week.
Kenny's driving the ball well, but he's got 1 T10 since the Waste Management Phoenix Open. He's done nothing, that's the thing. So the ownership will be low. I get it. But irons, oh God, that's the thing. You get on the roller coaster with Spieth when no one is on there, which is fine. You're doing the one rule that I'm with you on Spieth. Don't love him, but like you said, there's a lot that can happen with him. Alex Noren, flop lag situation. Yeah. Right? Like this is
if you played him last week, why the fuck wouldn't you play him this week at like a quarter of the ownership? Right.
If you played him last week, why would you not play him double this? If you'd never played him last week, why would you not double down on him this week after everyone, shit the bed there? Shout out to him and shout out to Davis Thompson for helping my 5 for 6 cash. So that was very nice of Noren because I bet him top 20, lost that bet. But you know what? The rest of the DFS situation took care of business there. So yeah, I like him to round out the 8s.
Who do you like in the 7K?
Keegan Bradley, man. Like, I think I'm going to have him in pretty much every single... The fact that he's driving it so well right now. Like, elite levels of like Rory, like gaining 1.5 strokes off the tee on demand, dude. Like, to gain 1.5 off the tee is incredible because it is so hard to gain over 2 strokes off the tee. You can gain over 2 strokes putting on irons because you can't just make up a single shot off the tee unless you hit it in the hole kind of thing. Like, driving is micro-dosing strokes gained, and Keegan is micro-dosing that driver hard right now. So I love him a lot. Jason Day, like no matter where he is, he just seems to play well at like. I guess he hasn't really played that well before.
Yeah, he sucks at this course, doesn't he? Like he lives in the area, but he blows at this course. You see that happen a lot with golfers. Like I think of Charlie Hoffman in Vegas, right? Where he plays that course all the time. It just seems like you have more responsibilities. Like you have to take care of your friends, get them tickets, blah, blah, blah. You got family, all this stuff. Sometimes playing at your home course, not the best thing. For guys, and it showed with his finishes. He just hasn't really played well. And you would think on a course like this, especially with the high ball flight and the long irons, and it could be something that you'd be doing well at. But for the most part, really not great. There's a couple of guys I really like in this. Tony Finau, 7,900. I mean, give me that. The way he's playing, it looks like. He's had some decent finishes. His iron game looks like it's back. His tee to green's been pretty good here recently. Now, again, he's normally better in these non-big boy events, but it's $7,900. I will take the risk to see if he can get him a little bit upside because, of course, Beck is his best putting surface, right? And the guy has been playing, pretty good. He's gained, 12 strokes, 13 strokes with his irons in his last 2 appearances. He almost went perfect across the board at the Charles Schwab. Give me a little bit of Finau this week. I really love Sepp Straka at 7,500. I feel like that number, like that, he's way underpriced, right? And the thing is, he's had 3 top 10s in his 4 events, right? 2 of them have been at signature events, and those courses are the complete opposite of each other. That's when you know your game is on point, right? When you're playing like a 6,900 yard, RBC Heritage, you finish top 10. And then you go play like a 7,700-yard Wells Fargo with the hardest greens and shit just bouncing everywhere. Top 10 again, right? Really fucking impressive by Sepp Straka. Give me a little bit of him. I might even be using him cash. We'll see. At 7,500. Siwoo Kim, 7,700. Again, he playing really well. Bunch of top 20s. He sucks in majors. So don't even look at his major record because the guy just blows at majors. But look at everything else. The guy's been a baller basically all season. The thing about Siwoo that we've noticed in the last 2 years is, prior in the past when he was younger, it was boom or bust. Boom or bust. He would finish top 5 and then wouldn't make a cut for 4 weeks, right? And then top 5 again, wouldn't make a cut for 3 weeks. That's not him though. Now he's got consistency. He makes cuts. He has back to back, a lot of consistent top-end finishes. It's a different player nowadays. Really like Siwoo. Who else do you like in the 7K range?
Yeah, love Siwoo, yeah. And I think this is the kind of course to go to him on because of the fact that he doesn't make a lot of birdies. Kenny, he's very consistent. He's just a plotter, and I love that about this golf course. Tom Kim is going to be very intriguing because he's starting to find his groove. He's starting to get it together. So I'm tempted to play him, but I will be playing him at US Open for sure. And Will Zalatoris, I'll take him at $7,500 and Tom Hoge at $7,400 because these two dudes, I think Hoge is also he's finishing top 20 in half of his 16 starts this year, and it's at golf courses that aren't necessarily the easiest things in the world. Tom Hoge's played well at venues that he struggled at in the past. That's how well you're playing well, Kenny, like you mentioned with Straka, is when you go to a place that you got bad course history and overcome that because your form is good. When you've got 4 consecutive miscuts at a venue, then you go there and make the cut, that tells me that you're playing good golf. So he's doing it. And then Harris English and Steven Yeager, Mackenzie Hughes, all in the $7,200, $7,100 bucket. Mackenzie Hughes, this golf course is for him. This guy can scramble. And he's putting, Kenny. There's no one on this planet that's putting better than Mackenzie Hughes right now. And it's sustainable. It's ridiculous. Over a 24-round sample size, he's putting at a level that Scotty Scheffler is hitting his irons. He's gaining the same amount of strokes as Scotty Scheffler.
I could have used that putting Sunday. It didn't show up Sunday. But yeah, I'll probably use him. Other guys, there's a bunch of guys down there. Like Billy Hobag, right? Mm-hmm. 4 top 10s in his last 9 events, including a win, right? You got Bazidin, who bunch of top finishes here. Iron game exceptionally strong. Putt his ass off. Doesn't make very many mistakes. Really good around the green. I think he makes sense. Ben Griffin, you saw what he did last week, right? Again, iron game has been really, really good. Avoids bogeys, good at par fours. In the top half from 150 to 175, you'll see a lot of approaches from 150 to 200 yards this week. Lucas Glover down there at 7K. Ricky Fowler at 7K. I'm going to be going back to those guys. Glover, just very, very consistent ball striker. His weeks all revolve around putting. And I think you've seen shitty putters win this event in the past. Very similar to what you see at Augusta, right? And that's what Jack wants. Jack wants that similarity to his favorite course, Augusta National. So I think you can see that. Let's move to the 6K range.
And Kenny, just to jump in quickly before you do that, did you just see how easy it was for you to rattle off those names that are south of $7,500, which is your average remaining salary after Scotty Scheffler? Yeah. He's going to be owned through the roof. Just after hearing you speak those names, he's going to be very popular this week.
Yeah, I think I might go Rory instead, but I mean, like, I don't know because I mean, if it's anything like last year, I had like 53% Rory. Like, I never go over 50%, and I had him in cash, right? And in the $5, he was 47% up.
He was the only guy.
Not even single entry. Like,
he was the only guy in the field, Kenny.
That's true. It's going to be different this week. I think it'll probably be more spread out because of how the top guys have been playing.
Anna was at a golf course that he'd won at the last time they played there, and at a golf course and at an event that he's won multiple times. Like, it all made too much sense to go to Rory. It makes too much sense to go to Scotty again this week. I mean, for him to finish top 3 last year, losing the amount of strokes he did putting, he'll be back in people's lineups for sure.
Do you got any gems down here? I'll go with my final cash game cornerstone. 6,500. It's going to be Lee Hodges. Hodges back-to-back top 15, the 12th place here last year. Iron game solid, really good from 175 to 200. So I do like Lee Hodges. He'll be my final piece in my cash game cornerstone's got to have a punch. I'm going to have those 3 studs up top, which are going to be Hovland at 10-2, Morikawa at 9-8, Homa at 8-6, and Hodges at 6-5. Leaves you almost 15K to fill out the rest of your lineup. You can go a couple of 7K guys. You can even go 8K and 6K if you'd like. I got a couple of 7K guys right near the middle that I'm playing. I think Straka's one of them. We'll see if Harmon makes it to my lineup because I do like the upside, because you're going to see, similar, like we're going to see like European conditions on the weekend. Like, cool, right? Not like usually when you play this tournament, it's like 95 degrees and humid, right? It's like 70 degrees on Friday, like 70 degrees and like misty
and windy.
And windy. It's like it's going to be weird seeing that at this course, and that seems like Harmon's won an Open Championship, right? So he should be.
Isn't
familiar.
it in Dublin?
It's in Dublin. Yeah.
That's Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah. Other guys in the 6K range, Andrew Putnam, who finished top 5 here last year, seems like you can make a decent case for him. Jake Knapp down there at 6,300 again, a guy who tends to make a lot of cuts. And he tends to get a lot of birdies when he makes those cuts. Mm-hmm. Someone to look at: Pendrith, playing very, very good golf. Ekro, stat-wise, he's one of the best from 175 to 200. A lot of long iron play here. He's one of the best. Victor Perez, probably my favorite. Really showed some mettle last week with that birdie on 18. He played very, very well. It's the first time I've really seen his game. He's a hell of a player. He's bombing out there, doing his thing, putt pretty well, at least from what I saw. Maybe the numbers overall don't correlate to that, but from what I saw, with the few times I saw him on Sunday, man, the guy was putting his ass off. So I could play him at 6,800. Who do you like in the 6K range?
Kenny, he was $6,400 in round 4 showdown and was 40% owned because of where he was on the leaderboard, and then had the round he did. I never played him, and he was AIDS to not have in your lineup. So I like Taylor Moore. I'm surprised you haven't mentioned him. He's got a very similar profile to what Arsen Ekro does on these longer courses with long irons and out of the rough and drivers and stuff. I like Taylor Moore a lot. He's $6,800. Taylor Pendrith, and then Seamus Power kind of let us down a little bit last week. He's showing some resolve, some fight back in his game. I think I don't mind him at $6,300. That's a very nice price tag for someone who can kind of help you get some salary relief in that range. And then I've always played Nick Taylor. He gets disrespected in the price range, and when he pops, and that's the thing. So maybe he feels a little let down after last week and plays better, but that would be like in the bottom of my barrel lineup. So
I didn't even see him in the field. Where is he?
He's $6,400 apparently. We'll see there, but I don't know. I'm a fan of that 7K range though, a lot.
Yeah, I'll play a little Justin Rose, 6,900. Really good showing the last time out. Again, he could be the type of guy who can gather a little bit of momentum. I think when he plays bad, he continually plays bad. So hopefully this sort of brings him back up after his last outing. He looked really good. I don't mind taking a risk on him at that price. All right, anybody else that we need to mention?
That's it for me, Kenny. I'm really looking forward to this next stretch of golf, man. The Memorial, the US Open, it's a nice little run.
All right, tell them where they can find you, my friend.
All right, folks, catch me at The Model Maniac on X. I'll be doing Back 9 Bets on Mayo Media Network, baby, on Tuesdays at 7 Eastern. That's my podcast that I'll be doing every Tuesday now at Back 9 Bets. And then rotoballer.com. I'll be doing all my articles there. My models are out there for the majors. It's difficult to figure out stuff with the live guys. I'll have models with all the majors, strokes gained from majors, all that shit, all in my models at rotoballer.com. You'll have all my articles, all my picks, all my bets, everything you could wish for at rotoballer.com.
Nice. Looking forward to watching that show on Tuesdays on the Mayo Media Network. It should be fun. Remember to join Underdog Fantasy. Use promo code Mayo. Get yourself a $250 deposit match when you sign up. You can find me on X at KendoVT. I'll have some Underdog plays there, live betting, some stupid shit that I'll post all the time. It'll be on X, so make sure you follow me there. You can find my article every week on dupscorner.com. Use promo code Kenny. Save yourself 30% on a membership. All right, so we are getting to a good stretch of golf. We're getting to the heart of summer. It should be a lot of fun. Let's win some motherfucking money. Degen Nation.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort. Stacking penny stocks while I'm flipping these birds. Sipping on Ciroc, trip 'em up with the words. I done popped the molly and I think it's be my third.